Hi everyone, this is Rion Paper. Welcome to another video. This is going to be a new pen day, but it would actually be more accurate to call it New Pens Day, plural, because I got sent not one, not two, but 3 fountain pens, which is very exciting. So yeah, let's start with a little bit of a backstory. So earlier this year, BENU introduced the BENU Pixie model. These super cute tiny pocket pens that posed to become a very comfortable writer, and actually, like, it's a small pen, but it's not too tiny when it's posted. And these pens have quickly become quite popular. I think because people just like things that are cute. And pocket pens have just always had this sort of popularity to them. And they are just really detailed, beautiful designs. A lot of pocket pens out there are quite understated, quite classy but simple, and in true BENU fashion, the Pixies are a lot more vibrant, colorful, wild. And I have had this one for a couple of months now, and I have greatly enjoyed using it. So when BENU reached out and asked me if I wanted to try out and review one of their Pixie sets, I was very enthusiastic. So BENU has these sets, these boxes of 3 BENU Pixies that you can only get from their own web shop. So that is the BENU website. And they come in these very nice boxes, square boxes. That cat hair on there was not from BENU. That is just because I have 2 cats and their fur gets literally everywhere. But they come in these beautiful boxes, and the set that they have very different sets. They have one that is quite classy and quite, more. I can't find the words, but one that is I think it's very elegant and classy. They have one that is very fun and bright, and they have recently introduced one that I believe has glow-in-the-dark elements. So they've been experimenting with these and have come up with a lot of fun designs. But when I saw this one, the choice was made. It's so beautiful. And it is the Metallic Dust set. 3 pens called Silver, Gold, and Bronze. And let's take a closer look, because they are not only very cute, but also really beautiful. This is the Silver pen. Let's hold it this way so you can actually read BENU. This one's called Silver. All of them have the same black body, so you could obviously swap the caps if you have different nib sizes, for example. When you order these, you can choose for each pen which nib size you or like writing with you want. So for the Silver one, which has a silver colored nib, so that there's a difference, I picked extra fine. So the Silver one is an extra fine. Then we have the Gold one. And I believe for the Gold one, I picked a fine. And the Gold one comes with a gold colored nib. And then for the Bronze one, which also comes with a gold colored nib, I picked an extra fine, so that I have the extra fine nib in both the gold color and the silver color, and then a fine nib that I can use for a bit of variation. So this one has an extra fine gold colored nib, which nicely matches the gold colored flakes in the cap. So the color names, the silver, gold, and bronze, correspond mostly with the colors in the cap. And it's just, wow. There's a lot to see. It's super sparkly. I think this dark gray silver color is gorgeous. And these sparkles are just, wow. They come with a cartridge, and it's kind of interesting because when you take this apart, they have a small international cartridge. It's very secure. It's a lot of turns, which I think is good for this part. Let's just put this one here. It comes with these smaller cartridges, international cartridges. It does take a converter, but I think it only takes the Kaweco foldable converter, the quite new converter that I don't have, so I can't test it. But obviously, like this pen body is very, very small. Like there's not a lot of things that you can put in here. But I think these cartridges are actually quite nice because these are the international cartridges. You can find quite a lot of brands that have them. You can put diamine cartridges in here. I believe this one has a diamine ink. I think the Kaweco ones will fit. And there's probably other brands that have international cartridges that you can just buy, pop in there and start writing. But what's also really nice is if you have, like here, an empty cartridge. This is just one that I've written dry in another pen before and that I cleaned out and capped so that I can fill this with another ink using a syringe. So I have this blunt syringe. You just pop this on here and you can draw some ink from an ink bottle and insert that into the cartridge carefully. And then you have a cartridge with whatever ink you have on hand and whatever ink you want to use. And I think that is just as convenient as using a converter. This is very easy to clean out with a blunt syringe as well. So yeah, that's those are the options you have for inking these pens up. Of course, if you want to start writing immediately, you get 3 of these cartridges because all of them have a cartridge. So you can just start writing and using them. But yeah, obviously it's just a lot of fun to use different inks. So then let's take a bit of a closer look at this one. This one has, I see this as sort of 2 types of gold. This is the more almost greenish gold. That is a very, very lovely shade. It goes so well next to these other pans. And then the cap is this almost golden orange color that is super sparkly. And then you have the bigger golden flecks as a sort of transitioning color. So this one has actually a lot going on. I think these colors have the biggest contrast to them in the cap. I think from the 3, this one is my least favorite if I had to pick. I don't know which my favorite is because I love these very much. I think the bronze one is probably, I like that one the most in types of color. But yeah, same thing here. You get the cartridge, you pick whatever nib size you want or nib width. And it's just, these resins are stunning. And then the bronze one, yeah, I love this brown color, this dark chocolatey brown that goes into this lovely warm orange. It's almost like copper. Absolutely gorgeous. Some people may not like the fact that the BENU logo is silver colored for the pens with a gold nib and a gold sparkle, and gold colored for the ones with silver sparkles and a silver colored nib. I don't mind. I think the logo is, like the brand name is not really part of the design. It's like something extra that's on there. So for me, it doesn't matter if it's not the same color. But I can see why some people think that would be nicer if it blends in more. I think these designs are gorgeous. I think the only thing that would have made these even more beautiful is, you see these bodies are just a glossy black, and they have no gradient, no texture. It's just like a flat glossy black body. And I think if they were black but they had a little bit more depth to them, like the darker parts of the caps have, I think that would look even more beautiful. But maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's overkill. I think that most of the attention now goes to the cap, which is also nice. And if you post these, the design doesn't really change. They still feel the same. Sometimes you have a pen where there's kind of a gradient or like colored sections, and it looks very different when you post it. But these don't really beautiful. I showed you before this this BENU Pixie that I already had, this Aurora Gold, and I noticed that these colors are very similar. They're not, I think they're almost the same color, but not the same, I don't know, texture is maybe not the right word, but this one looks a bit more coarse, where this one is very fine, the sort of glitter in there. But I think you could have quite a lot of fun mixing and matching these pens and bodies. For example, if you put the body from the Aurora Gold with the cap of the metallic dust bronze, you get a completely different pen, and it's also gorgeous. I think this combination is stunning. So yeah, if you wanted to go wild and mix and match a bunch of Pixie pens, you totally can. Might also be a nice way to switch up some nibs. These nibs are quite easy to swap, I think. So if you have multiple, like these are Schmidt's number 5 size nibs. So if you wanted to, you can just very easily screw these out. They have these threads, and you can swap them. So you can have quite a bit of fun just Frankensteining various pens to make your own sort of ultimate BENU Pixie, which I think is very nice in these sets. Obviously, these have the same colored bodies, but some of the BENU Pixie sets that they have released do not. They have various colors, and you basically have tons of options to swap out these parts within the set, so you can really make it your own. I think these are very nice to have, like, just for yourself, obviously. Especially if you wanted to try out various nib sizes. But I think these are also really beautiful to maybe trade with other fountain pen friends. Maybe you really like the silver one, you don't like the gold one, and someone else has a different set, and you can trade with them, or they'd make for a very lovely gift. I think it's a really nice idea that they paired these with 3 pens. Obviously, I think it's a bit of a controversial topic. Well, controversial, maybe a bit heavy word choice, but I mean, you could obviously state, why package them into a bundle of 3? Why not sell them separately so you can have 1 or 2, but you don't have to get all 3? But I think the theming with these is really nice, and it's really nice to have this set that is like designed basically as one one big piece. And yes, you get 3 pens, but you are really getting the experience of the set. So I think it's really quite cool. Let's compare the sizes with some of the other BENU pens and smaller, like more pocket pens that I have. I don't have a ton of small pens. I'm not really a pocket pen collector because I find a lot of pocket pens a little bit boring in their design. So I haven't really dived into them before the BENU Pixie was released, and I was like, yes, this is a pocket pen that I can get behind. But I have a couple of pens here on my tray. So let's just pop these next. Well, let's do it like this. In the middle, we have this BENU Pixie. I'm gonna line it out with the bottom so we get a nice overview of the size. Am I even in frame? Yes. So another smaller BENU pen is this one, the BENU Briolette. And yes, it is a bit of a smaller pen, but it's nowhere as small as the BENU Pixie. They have the same nib, so you get a similar writing experience. So it's really about what is comfortable for you, what do you like more. But I will say that if you do not post this, I don't even know if the Briolette does post. No, it doesn't. So basically, you'd have to use this pen like this. Whereas this one, you can write like this. And I actually can do that quite easily because I don't really rest my pen here. But I do think it's way more comfortable if you post it like this. It feels a bit more balanced and stable. If you put these like this, these pens have actually quite a similar size. So in terms of the writing experience, I guess these could be very similar. They have the same nib. They have a similar length. They have a similar grip section. Not the same grip section, but quite similar. So it's really just about what you like. And I like that with the BENU pens, that they are all quite outspoken, I'd say. Like this Briolette is not your standard fountain pen, if such a pen even exists, but I'd say this is way more outspoken than, let's say, the Pilot Prera. And honestly, I really like that. I've really grown to like that. When I first got into fountain pens, I was like, I'm never gonna get a BENU. There's way too much going on for me. Like, I like a classy pen, like a vintage look, something like that. But that really has changed a lot. Like, I love picking up this Briolette, for example, and I love picking up this Pixie that is very colorful because they're such fun pens. And fountain pens are really about having fun with your writing for me. On the other side of the spectrum, we have the BENU Euphoria that is almost like double the size. If you want a bigger pen, if you do not think a pocket pen is comfortable, if that is not something for you, consider the Euphoria. That is a chunky pen. It is super comfortable in my opinion. Really one of the most comfortable pens to hold. So this may be more your thing. But obviously, if you want to take this with you, this pen, this smaller BENU Pixie, takes up a lot less space in your bag or pen case or whatever. So let's move these a little bit to the side. I have two smaller pens with me that are not by any means as small as the BENU Pixie. I think quite a popular pocket pen on the market is the Kaweco Sport. I do not have that one, unfortunately, because I don't really like the design. But I think that one would be nice to compare with the Pixie, but I'm sure there are people out there who have done that. The Prera is a smaller pen, and this is the Sailor Prophet Junior, which is also a smaller pen. Both are pens that I prefer to post when writing with them. And let's actually see when we post these if we get a similar length. No, I think the Pixie is still going to be the smallest. Yeah, by far. So if you like really small pens, the Pixie might be the perfect pen for you. I was hesitant getting it because I don't have huge hands, but I don't have small hands by any means. I find this pen surprisingly comfortable, and I have let my partner try them, and my partner has bigger hands than I do, and even he was very surprised with how comfortable these BENU pens are. I think I have not asked BENU this, but if I remember, I will. I have the feeling that the caps of this BENU Pixie set fit on the back a little bit better than this one. I don't know why that is, if they've changed it, if they've tweaked it, or if it's just chance. But I feel like this one has a little bit more wiggle room, which may result in the cap coming loose when you're writing with it. Whereas I feel this one is really secure. So I don't know if they've changed that or if it's just maybe different materials or something. Oh my god, I could be very tempted to collect Pixies. Just look at this family. This makes me so happy. All right, let's try these pens out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the line width difference between the fine and extra fine nibs. And then I'm going to show you how to ink one of these, like with a empty cartridge and a blunt syringe. With the line width comparison, I'm just going to use the blue cartridges that are in there, so you don't have the variability between two different inks. So let me show you. So this is very easy. And you've probably done this before, but we're just gonna pop this in here. It fits nice and secure. You get a nice like little snap, so you feel when it's secured and when you've popped the cartridge. And now we're just gonna let this sit for a little bit so that the ink starts flowing. If I have a glass, like just a glass that I would put water in or anything, if I have that on my desk, I will usually put them like upside down in that, so that the ink starts flowing downward, but I don't have anything like that at the moment. And then this is the extra fine nib. So we're also gonna pop the cartridge in here so that we can compare them. That's very satisfying to do. And then we're just gonna wait for a little bit for these to start flowing. Maybe they already do. Let's just find out. All right, let's start with the fine nib. No, we don't have any flow yet. Nothing to worry about. Just let the ink settle. Normally, when I fill an ink when I fill a pen that has a converter in it, I put the nib inside the ink bottle when I drop the ink, so that the feed is already saturated with ink and then it writes immediately. When you use a cartridge like this, you just need to give the ink a little bit of time to get into the feed and start flowing. But I think I may already see I may prime it. Sometimes when you wipe like the top of the nib, you kind of prime it a little bit. No, I'm just gonna let this settle for a little bit and pick out an ink for this beautiful silver colored pen. So I'll be right back because I forgot my folder with my ink swatches, and yeah, we can pick one out. I have my gray and black swatches here in this folder because I think I want to use a gray ink in this pen, something that kind of matches this darker gray color. So let's see, what options do we have here? It's kind of hard to get this in frame and not knock over my camera. But here we have options. These are my cooler blues. I think a lot of these could work. Diamine Snowstorm is a little bit more blue than the resin, but it's nice. And it's a shimmer ink. I would not mind putting a shimmer ink in these, even though these are extra fine nibs. I am a firm believer that you can use most shimmer inks in most extra fine nibs. There will always be some sort of cases where it doesn't really work, some sort of problem case, but these Schmidt nibs especially handle shimmer fantastically. Sparkling shadows could be really nice. Silver Fox is also quite a beautiful combination. Would Diamine Gray be too boring? Diamine Gray is a very middle of the road gray ink, but I actually really like that ink. I haven't inked that up for ages. You know what? I might just do that. April Showers would be a lovely combination. Moondust as well. Moonbeam also. I have so many. Most of these are samples, thank God, because I could never finish all of these as a bottle, but I have a ton of gray inks. I love gray inks, by the way, if you couldn't tell already. Mostly because I think gray inks have a lot of different nuances, and I don't know, it can be kind of tricky to find that one specific shade that just really does the trick for you, while others are just plain boring. I'm gonna go for Diamine Gray. I like Diamine Gray. I have a chunky 80 milliliters bottle of that because I bought that when I didn't know that smaller bottles or samples even existed. This is probably my bottle of ink that I've had for the longest, so I'm also kind of curious to see if there's anything growing in it yet, but I don't think there will be. But yeah, let's get that bottle and let's ink this up. I have my beautiful bottle of Diamine Gray here, and we are just going to, I guess, trigger warning for needles. If a blunt syringe freaks you out, this may be a good moment to look away. So I'm just going to twist this blunt needle on the tip. This is quite a big syringe. This is 10 milliliters. I also have a smaller one, but I didn't have that when I started using this. So for now, I'm just going to keep using this. I'm going to need like half a milliliter for these cartridges, I think. So let's just pull some up. And then I'm just going to put the needle inside the cartridge and carefully push out the ink. So yeah, there's still left. Just gonna put that back. I think that will be okay. This should be very clean. Put that to the side. Try not knock this over. And then I'm gonna unscrew this, put the cartridge to the side, and I'm gonna pop this cartridge of diamine gray, which is probably a color that you can just buy in cartridges anyway, but and then we're just gonna let this settle as well, because I think we'll be able to try our other two pens out now. So let's give this a try. No, we still don't get any ink. Wait, hold on. Now I have ink on my finger, but I think it does work. No, it still doesn't. Maybe the extra fine nib does? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, this one's writing. Okay, we'll start with this one. I put this one upside down, so this one's writing now. This is the extra fine nib. So let's do a line. This is the extra fine number 5 Schmidt nib. Is this how we spell Schmidt? It is now. I think this ink is Diamine Oxford Blue, which is a very nice, dark, kind of grayish leaning blue color. It's kind of blue-black. I think it's quite pretty. I don't think it matches these pens very well, so I would probably be tempted to put something like a brown in here, or maybe something, I don't know, Color First Martian, Diamond Ancient Copper, something that kind of goes with the cap. I think all of these can take quite a lot of different colors and still match. Let's see if this one writes now. Still not. Oh, there we go. Okay, so patience. This is just another lesson that sometimes you just need to be patient. Okay, let's do a similar line. Okay, that's a little bit wider, but not as much of a difference as I would have expected. Okay, it is a fine nib, just checking. Okay, so yeah, this one, the line width isn't that much wider, but this one does feel smoother, wetter. I think for shimmer ink, this one would be beautiful, or to get just that extra bit of shading. I also think that if you have a fine and an extra fine nib of these, you get a little bit more room for inks to be either a little too wet and then you just pop on the extra fine nib, or maybe the ink is like a little bit on the dry side and you can try if with a fine nib maybe it writes a little bit nicer. You could go for other nib sizes. Obviously they have the medium as well and the broad, and then I think this one will be writing as well now. Oh, I love the look of that silver colored Schmidt nib with the silver in the cap. Nope, doesn't write yet. Okay, nothing a little priming with a wet finger won't fix. Oh, I've missed this ink. I like this. So this is another extra fine. This ink has really good shading, by the way. I love the extra fine Schmidt nibs. I wish they made the number 6 size that the BENU Euphoria comes with. I wish they made that one in extra fine as well, because I love these extra fines. So maybe Diamond Grey is a little bit warmer than the grey color of the cap, but I think it's still a really nice match. That's Doodle Cat. So fun fact, whenever I write my name on like a birthday card, I always include my 2 cats. So I usually draw Uzo like this. Uzo is our first cat. And then we got Momo. And because I needed to sort of diversify the drawings, but their faces are like quite similar, I suppose. But Momo has a very floofy tail. So you usually just like add like a very floofy tail. And it looks ugly, but most people will still recognize it. If they know my cats, obviously. I love this. I really thought the bronze colored one would be my favorite, but this silver is really growing on me. That's the cool thing with this set. You don't have to choose. You can have them all. I think these are so nice. Thank you so much, BENU, for sending these my way. I will take very, very good care of them. And I once heard someone from the Netherlands Pen Club say that 4 pens is a collection. Well, I think I have a collection going on here. And I'm not looking to expand, but one thing I am wondering, there's the coffee... what's it called? There's a coffee brown one and the honey bronze, maybe? Both of those BENU Pixies have a dark brown body. And I wonder if that brown would match like really well with this cap. But, I love these. I never thought I would be this into pens that are 1, pocket pens, 2, have a ton of glitter. I don't know what's happening, but I love these. And I love my BENU Euphoria. I love my Briolette. I am really starting to feel like I have a BENU collection. And yes, they have kind of pen-abled me by sending like half of my BENU pens to me to try. But also, I would have considered getting them anyway. So it's not like I'm promoting something that I don't enjoy, because I love these pens. So I think that's it for now. I will link the pens in the description down below if you want to check out the specifics, the different nib options, the gorgeous product photography that BENU always does. You can get these like really good close-ups if you just want to see. Like sometimes it's nice to see the different pen from like multiple people, because then you kind of get a sense of the color variation in images. So definitely recommend taking a look. I will also link this one because that one is also a BENU exclusive, and it's really worth checking out because it's gorgeous. These ones on the left are not BENU exclusive pens, so you could get these at local retailers, which may be more practical for you. I found that obviously these were gifted to me, but I've ordered this Briolette from BENU when it was on sale, and the shipping to the Netherlands in my case was really affordable, but the customs that I was charged were quite high. Obviously that's not something that BENU can influence, but you probably know best whether for your country it's an option going for these BENU exclusive from their website, or whether you want to stick with the ones that you can get locally. And with all of that said, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's usually the case, and I will probably realize once I'm done posting this video. So if you have any questions, anything you want to know about these, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that if you were looking for information on these pixies and if you were curious to try them out, that this was informative or at least a little bit enjoyable. Thank you so much again to BENU for sending these pens my way. I am super happy with them, and yeah, I hope that a lot of people will get to enjoy these. Take care. I hope to see you in the next video. See ya. Bye.